If your team is constantly overwhelmed, well, this might be why. You see, no matter how hard they work, it might seem like your team just can't get ahead. It's like running on a treadmill set to max speed. You're burning energy, but you aren't going anywhere. Now, if this sounds familiar, then your organization is caught in an invisible bottleneck, and it's strangling your productivity. But today, we're going to expose it. And more importantly, we're going to fix it. But why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Greg Jones. I'm a leadership strategist, organizational psychologist, and consultant. And for over 15 years, I've helped organizations, both Fortune 500 and scrappy startups, break through inefficiencies and unlock peak performance. And now, I'm sharing this information with you so you can start to apply it immediately. But before we dive in, let me ask you this. What if the biggest roadblock to your organization's success isn't the competition? It's not the economy. It's not even a lack of talent. But it's something much closer to home. Something that once fixed could dramatically accelerate your performance. Let's talk about the silent killer of productivity. Your team's biggest problem isn't effort, it's inefficiency. And most leaders assume that when their team is drowning in work, they need to add more people, or they need to work longer hours. Or better yet, we just need to hustle harder. But the real problem is the invisible friction within your workflows. These bottlenecks that you don't even know exist. You see, these bottlenecks don't just slow you down, they create frustration, burnout, and disengagement. And when employees are constantly running into roadblocks, motivation plummets. So instead of having meaningful work, they spend their entire days navigating the inefficiencies of your organization. Over time, this erodes trust in leadership, fosters resentment, and stifles creativity. Because productivity isn't just about doing more. It's about creating an environment where people can work effectively and contribute to the larger mission. And if you don't actively address these inefficiencies, you're not just losing time, you'll also end up losing your best talent. Now, I want you to imagine you're pouring a glass of water, but instead of a steady stream, it just dribbles out drop by drop, all because of a clogged spout. You see, that's exactly what's happening inside of your organization. The effort's there, but the outdated processes, the unclear priorities, and the unnecessary approvals are blocking the flow. And here's the kicker. Most organizations simply adapt to these inefficiencies instead of fixing them. And then workarounds become the norm. And before long, people just assume that, well, that's just the way things are. But here's the truth. Just because something is normal doesn't mean it's optimal. And breaking free from the status quo is the first step to high performance. Most organizations are losing hours every single week, and they don't even realize why. And if it feels like work is slower than it should be, chances are you're stuck in one of these three bottlenecks. The first is a decision bottleneck. If every decision requires approval from the top, well, congratulations. You've built a bottleneck and not a business. You see, when employees don't have clarity on what they can decide on their own, they get stuck in this endless loop of waiting for permission. The fix? Empower your team. Set guidelines. Give authority. And get out of the way. You see, the best employees want autonomy, not bureaucracy. And the second is communication bottlenecks. Most teams aren't slow. They're just waiting on information. And if messages are unclear or delayed, hesitation starts to creep in. And the result? Confusion, wasted time, and misalignment. You see, high-performing teams ensure clarity through structured updates, streamlined messaging, and reducing unnecessary back and forth. The third bottleneck, process bottlenecks. This is the silent killer. You see, organizations love to cling to, that's just the way things are done. The problem? Yesterday's processes weren't built for today's pace. Stagnation, wasted effort, and frustration follow when you use that process. But companies that regularly audit and refine their workflows, they thrive. Mostly because they operate with agility instead of inertia. But if you fix these, you're not just saving time, you're improving the flow of work. And that means better results, faster. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 3 days, ask your team this one question. What's slowing you down the most? And I can bet the answers will expose the real problem. Likely what you'll find out is that your team's productivity isn't broken, it's just blocked. And once you recognize what's standing in the way, you can clear the path. But this is where most leaders get this wrong. You see, they focus on the symptoms and not the source. But until you fix the inefficiencies, you're just putting Band-Aids on bullet holes. But fear not, because I've got 3 steps to help you through the process. Step number 1, decentralize decision-making. You see, the best decisions happen closest to the work. And if you force approvals up the chain, you slow everything down. But if you fix this by giving your team clear decision-making authority, using guardrails and not roadblocks, you'll have an efficient process of getting things done faster. Now, to take this a step further, here are a few processes you can actually use to decentralize your decision-making. The first process is called the two-way door principle. This is where you teach your team to differentiate between reversible, low-risk, and irreversible, high-risk decisions. The idea is to push the low-risk decisions down the chain. The second technique is to empower with guardrails, not bureaucracy. The goal here is to make decision thresholds. For example, you could say any purchase under $5,000, you can make the decision. No approval needed. But more than that, well, then we have to come to a consensus. And the third technique is to leverage agile frameworks. Use decision-making structures like Scrum to empower your cross-functional teams and help them make timely choices. Now, after you've decentralized decision-making, the second step is to implement high-frequency, low-friction communication. Because most teams drown in unnecessary meetings and endless Slack threads. The fix? Short, structured check-ins and real-time collaboration tools. Now, the benefit in doing this is that you replace long meetings with short daily stand-ups. You end up using a single source of truth platform for all of your updates, and you establish clear, consistent communication rhythms. And finally, step number 3, this is where you implement the continuous flow rule. You see, every process should be designed for flow, not friction. And if work piles up, well, that's an indicator that you have a bottleneck. But here's what you can do. Utilize Kanban principles to visualize your work, limit bottlenecks, and ensure smooth task progression. Now, although I've given you these 3 steps, here's the reality. Most leaders think working harder is the answer. And they're wrong. Because if you're pushing your team to work harder instead of smarter, you're creating burnout, not productivity. You see, the best leaders aren't taskmasters, they're architects. And they design workflows, remove roadblocks, and create environments where success is inevitable. And if you want to do that in your organization, here's how you do it. First thing you can do is to shift from doing to designing. Stop firefighting and start designing systems that make decision-making clear and automatic. The second thing you can do is simplify to multiply. Complexity kills productivity. So cut any unnecessary steps, automate any repetitive task, and streamline all of your workflows. And third, you should be coaching, not carrying. Build team capability instead of being the bottleneck yourself. Because the difference between a struggling organization and a high-performing one, it isn't effort, it's efficiency. So you need to be a leader who removes the roadblocks. And once you do, you can sit back and watch your team accelerate towards success. When it's all said and done, if your organization feels stuck, it's not because people aren't working hard enough. It's likely because something's in their way. So here's what I need you to do. Take 15 minutes today to identify the biggest constraint within your organization. And once you do that, find it, fix it, and then watch everything around you change. Now, if this resonated with you, do me a favor, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to get more strategies on leadership, productivity, and high performance.